Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us on TommieMedia's The Locker Room. I'm Cam Kauffman. St. Thomas football coach Glenn Caruso signed 7 more players to his roster January 31st, bringing the Tommies recruiting class to 30. The signees hail from 13 different states and are almost evenly split between offense and defense. Those players will help build on last fall's 7-3 record and 3rd place finish in the Pioneer League. Thanks for coming in today, Coach.
Appreciate you having me, Cam.
After finishing just behind Davidson and San Diego this season, what do you think your needs were when the season ended, and how have the new recruits helped address those?
In inverse order, they've helped address them tremendously, but as you try to move something from, up 2 divisions, it's not just trying to get 1 or 2 pieces, and it's football, right? So you have to be able to bring in larger size classes, and those classes have to be able to fit all the needs that you have. I think our assistant coaching staff did an amazing job. I mean, coast to coast and border to border to match our game day footprint with how we recruited. And although the vast majority, are still going to be upper Midwest and the highest represented states, Minnesota, did a great job with those 13 states.
Yeah, absolutely. With a top defense in 2021 and a solid offense as well, what part of your defense and offense are you most excited about for this coming season?
So that's actually an interesting question. We didn't know what we didn't know when we went into the first year, and I'm not going to pretend like we know a whole lot more now. We know it all now. We don't, but we know more than we did. And we didn't know how things were going to translate. So certain plays, certain movements, certain blitzes, certain athleticisms or levers. And now we have some data points. So although we haven't been to every place and we still have to go through that through this next year, I think it gives our coaching staff a pretty good idea of, okay, what we were able to do last year gave us X amount of input. These are the areas for the largest return on investment of our time and our personnel placement. And that's what we're going to be spending the spring starting next month with for 2 months.
Well, so you talked about those data points that you got from this past season. Mm-hmm. What do you kind of feel like has been your biggest takeaway?
Blessed and grateful for the culture. I mean, we've built this thing over 15 years on people and culture, and that's not going to change. But I was pleasantly surprised at how far the brotherhood fighting for each other actually took us on the field. The goal of year 1 or year 2 is never record. But I think what a lot of people point to is the success that we had early, and that is a direct correlation, I would say less so to the arms and legs and more to the minds and the hearts of our players. Their attitude, their love for each other, the way they take coaching and the way they fight for each other is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome to watch this past season as well.
Really cool. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah. Well, so talking about the culture and stuff like that, is that kind of what you look for when you're recruiting these new 30 guys, or is it more, a mixture of both?
Well, look, I think one of the great things about being a part of a strong community, doesn't matter if it's a family, a business, a football program, is that everybody grows together, and I don't mean that in a trite way. What I mean is some of the qualities that I have and I lend to someone else, I also am taking those qualities of the other person. So I think the overwhelming consensus is that when you have a group of guys that are truly hardworking and curious about what are ways that I can get better, you have 109 other guys in your locker room, even before you get to your coaching staff, that are there to teach you how to do those things. And it's a ridiculously competitive locker room. We all understand that, and we're blessed to be in that position. But I think the way that they morphed and the relationships built, and everyone learned from one another. And that was sort of a nice thing for us to see as coaches, something that I'm not going to say was unexpected, but I didn't know it would occur at that high of a level, Cam.
Sure. No, that totally makes sense.
Cool.
Speaking of your locker room, you have 2 first-year quarterbacks right now, and now you're adding 2 next year. How confident are you in your young quarterback room for this coming season?
I don't like the word confidence. I never have, so I'm not going to use it. I do believe that we brought in the right types of young men who understand how we do things and the skill sets that everybody brings. I mean, football is such a gorgeous diversity of skill set, right? And that's what's so unique about it. You can have 25 different starters that do things so different. What we ask a corner to do is way different than what we ask a left tackle to do. However, when it comes to the quarterback position, there's also a ton of diversity and skill set within the position. And our coaching staff, I think, went out and identified the types of kids that have those predisposed qualities, attitude and the belief in the hard work, selflessness, thoughtfulness. And now we need to be able to get them to, run the plays and hand the ball off and throw it downfield. So those are the coaches' jobs, and that's what they're charged with right now. But it is a relatively young room, and we knew that would be the case with several of the positions as we make this transition.
Sure.
And I'm just grateful that they were able to play at the level they did.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for next season.
We got a lot of work to do, but I know what you're saying. It'll be exciting.
Well, thanks for coming in today, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Cam. Appreciate you.
Be sure to follow along on TommieMedia.com and on social media at TommieMedia for St. Thomas sports coverage. With Coach Glenn Caruso, I'm Cam Kauffman. We'll see you next time in The Locker Room.